Almost everyone enjoys outdoor activities in some form or other. I've enjoyed the outdoors since I was a child. Camping, fishing, and hunting are among my most favorites. Recently, some coworkers got me interested in canoe camping. That's where you drive to a secluded lake that doesn't have any roads to the campsites. You need a canoe to get to them. You paddle out, enjoy your weekend, and paddle back. So during a camping trip, I had borrowed my brother's aluminum canoe. This is where my informative speech begins because it's about what to do with an aluminum canoe and how to repair a hole in that canoe and get it ready to use again. The best place to start is always the beginning. So I had gone camping with my wife for a week, and we enjoyed the canoe the entire time. I was fishing, she was just relaxing, reading books, and everything went well until the second to last day when I found a hole in my brother's canoe. What had happened was I had left the canoe in the water and tied up to shore so it wouldn't float away, and it had brushed up against the rocks that were in the area long enough to where it wore down some of the side and actually put a crack in the side. We ended up our camping trip the next day. We packed up our gear and we went home. But the only thing I could think about on the ride home was, how do I fix this canoe? It's aluminum. And I didn't know how to tell my brother either. Once we got home and unpacked, I inspected the hole and I knew I needed some kind of help in repairing this canoe. What I had done is I had taken and Google searched, obviously, how to repair an aluminum canoe. Nothing came up specific for a canoe, but this website that I used was how to repair an aluminum boat. The website is listed here. That's the one I used. And the gentleman gave a lot of good points, a lot of good information. One of the things you have to do is you have to use something to patch the hole with. Some things you can use are fiberglass patches and others are epoxies. I went with an epoxy, something that I've used in the past on other types of things, a product called JB Weld. And I researched their website to see what product they had that might be for an aluminum canoe. What I found was a JB Weld product. It was a JB Weld marine product that you can see over here. And I reviewed the specifications. It would fit the project perfectly. So once I had a good understanding of what I was up against, I set a day aside to work on it. One of the things that the video pointed out was that to relieve the crack from going any further, even after a repair, was to drill relief holes. I did just that. I drilled relief holes at the end of each end of the crack. You can see that right here, the two hole relief holes. After I'd gotten that set and the area prepped for repair, I mixed the two-part epoxy of JB Weld Marine to the consistency it needed to be. Once I had it mixed up the right way, I applied it to the outside of the canoe, covering the entire crack. Initially, this is what it looked like. It doesn't look smooth, doesn't look pretty or anything, but that was just the first coat. After a couple more coats, the process continued. One of the things that I had to make sure of was that the epoxy had gotten through the crack and through the holes onto the inside, basically sandwiching the crack so it wouldn't spread any further. And in doing so, you can see here how it made it to the inside of the canoe. The hole was covered, and eventually I got it painted, sanded down and painted, but would it float again? With everything complete, my next step was a water test. I took the canoe down to the creek, the river that's next to my house, and put it in the water, and sure enough, everything held. There were no leaks, everything was fine. Basically, a couple days later, I sanded it, had it finished sanding down and painted. I returned the canoe to my brother and explained everything to him. He wasn't all that happy. So, in closing, in taking a canoe camping or for any kind of trip, especially if it's going to be overnight, make sure that you always bring the canoe up on land. Don't leave it tied up because there's always something that it can rub against and possibly wear a hole into it. Should you get a hole, inspect it, look it over, see if it's something you can repair or if it's something that you have to have somebody else do. I pretty much do all the things that I can myself. I made an attempt to do it myself. When you do decide that, gather up all your materials and prepare the area according to the repair material specifications. They give you step-by-step instructions on exactly what needs to be done. Once your repair is complete, clean up the area, final touch-up, paint everything, allow everything to dry the way it's supposed to, and then you can enjoy your canoe again. Thank you.